Reddit by Reddit recap. What's the most awkward thing that's happened at a sleepover? About grade 7. I had a sleepover with a few friends. One of them started crying when we started watching The Simpsons because he wasn't allowed to watch it at home. We couldn't calm him down for almost an hour. Real life Rod Todd. Time for some nachos. Flanders style. That's cucumbers with cottage cheese. Friend's mom walked downstairs to find 8 6th grade boys huddled around the TV watching porn. We instantly pretended to be asleep. And nothing was ever said after that. I still think of it every time I see her. I'm imagining you all just falling over like those narcoleptic goats. With the porn still playing in the background. I was imagining the same thing. But it sounds so much better in your words. My friend in high school had the house where all of our friends would play Smash Brothers tournaments until our eyes bled. Then go to sleep in his massive RV parked outside. I wasn't, and still am not, a morning person. So I'd usually be the last one out of the RV. One night, I fall asleep on the pull-out bed in my jeans and all, with just a blanket covering me. As I wake up, I'm still in that half awake, half asleep haze. And I feel something rustling in my nether regions. I figure it's just morning wood. And go back to sleep. Then it happens. I feel it again. Wake up for real this time. And my dong is outside of my zipper. Pants still on. Blanket still covering. And as I look over, my friend is laying next to me. He and I being the only two in the RV. Staring directly at the ceiling. I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. And prayed he didn't just pull my penis out of my pants while I was asleep. So I packed up and headed home. Lo and behold, an hour later I get a text saying he was so sorry. He didn't know what he was thinking. Yeah man. You pulled my dong out of my pants while I was sleeping. I'm gonna need a little space. TLDR. My penis beauty rest was disturbed. Update. I've lost contact over the years after he went to a different college. But he's now in a happy relationship after he came out a year or two ago. Staring at the ceiling fixes all the problems. When I was 6 I watched Jurassic Park at a friend's house one night. Got so scared I demanded my mom to come pick me up and take me home. So I said I was sick. My mother did not believe me. So I shit my pants in my friend's living room on accident so she would have to come get me. I didn't really go over to my friend's house that much after that. Fear can make a child crazy. Especially fear of velociraptors. Damn. You purposefully shit your pants so your mom would come get you? You play to win. Don't you? This was both awkward and kind of scary. I was 8 or 9 years old. My friend was having a birthday party and a bunch of us were sleeping over in the basement. The basement itself was pretty creepy and we had spent much of the night telling horror stories until we eventually went to sleep. At around 2 AM, we were woken up by one of the girls stomping up and down the stairs. She was yelling and crying. I can't remember what she was yelling specifically, but it was basically nonsense. It basically looked and sounded like she was possessed. A few of the girls started asking her to go back to sleep and she basically just angrily screamed no and continued going up and down the stairs. Finally, she eventually stopped. Without a word and walked back to bed. Found out in the morning that she had been sleepwalking. And on top of it had wet the bed. She was really embarrassed and we all felt really awkward at breakfast that morning. TLDR friend woke us all up acting like she was possessed by some kind of demon. Turned out to be sleepwalking and peed the bed. She probably remembers and cringes every so often. Poor thing. I'm sure she does. We never were cruel to her about it though. In fact, it happened a second time at another sleepover and one of the girls lead her to the bathroom and she did her business and went straight back to bed afterwards. Never happened again after that so it all blew over pretty easily. The day after the sleepover, my friend wouldn't let me leave no matter what I did. Around 6 PM his dad finally said I should probably go home. Friend burst into tears. Threw himself to the floor and was begging his dad to make me stay. There's nothing worse than being a kid at the house the next day wanting so badly to go home. Or having another kid at your house that you want to go home but they won't leave. I was out camping with a neighbor friend of mine when we were 14. I woke up hearing the shuffle of her sleeping bag. I asked her what she was doing and without breaking a stride she said that she was warming herself up. Then I turned on the lamp and found her on top of her bag, naked and masturbating. She immediately stopped and pulled her sleeping bag up over herself and she turned out the lamp. We sat there in silence for about 3 minutes. Then I said, "You can finish if you wanna." "No. You ruined it." We didn't speak much the rest of the trip. You gave her the opportunity to finish. At least. A true friend. About 11 years ago. Sleepover with girls and boys. All lights are out for about 10 minutes. We have all settled down and gotten silent for sleeping. Then we hear a grown male voice clearly enunciate the word "what." Now, let me be clear. This was not a child's voice. This was like hearing James Earl Jones say "what." There was about a 10-second silence and then one of the girls says, "Who said that?" Silence. Then one of the boys starts laughing uncontrollably. We turn the lights on and he is laughing so hard that he's crying. Here we are all freaking out about some strange man in our room while we sleep and he's pissing himself laughing. He finally calms down enough to tell us that it wasn't a person who asked what. He farted the word. His fart sounded exactly like the word "what." We all cracked up. To this day everyone from that party still answers phone calls from each other with "what." Was he able to ever replicate it or was that the best moment of his life? During the valedictorian speech. I was about 10. Sleeping over with a group of pals. Including my buddy's little brother who was around 6. We finished up a few rousing games of Donkey Kong 64 and Hydro Thunder and all went to bed. Woke up to find the little brother standing ominously above me, butt-ass naked except for a pair of Christmas-themed tube socks on his hands and arms, and peeing into my half-open sleeping bag. No more sleepovers at Ryan's house. Guess you played 2 different kinds of Hydro Thunder that night. When I was 12 my friend Peter had a disco-themed birthday party. No. I don't know why. At his house. The party being on a Friday. We all stayed the night. Being preteen boys with limitless cola. We ended up staying up all night. And decided to watch the sunrise on his back deck. As we're looking at the majestic, slowly lightening sky, our peaceful moment is shattered by a shrill, screaming voice. Looking to the source of the sound we see his fat, topless, 50-plus-year-old neighbor lady yelling through her kitchen window that we're degenerate perverts. She was under the impression we were all staring at her. Once the yelling started we couldn't really help it. And that horrible image will be forever burned into my mind. I'm 29 now. Of course she thought that. You can't handle these lumps. Finally invited to a sleepover at a popular girl's house. Started my period and bled all over my PJs, which I borrowed from her, and her sheets. This same thing happened to me. In 9th grade I went to a friend from middle school's birthday. I didn't realize my period was supposed to start and bled all over their nice fancy couch-like chair. I tried to help clean up, but everyone was making fun of me so I just called my dad. Told him what happened and left. Edit: I wanted to thank everyone for all the support. I wish I had known about Reddit 5 years ago. Would have helped me through a lot of stuff as a young teen. This happened to me too. Except it wasn't the popular girl's house and her mother yelled at me for waking her up. The tampons were in her private bathroom and she was fuming when her daughter tried to sneak in to grab one for me. I had almost forgot about that humiliation. Thanks. Back when I used to pee the bed in 3rd grade. I fell asleep in my friend's bed during a sleepover at his house. I pissed the bed. It was awkward. And I never stayed the night at his house again. But what was most awkward was that when I woke up, he was sitting in a chair staring at me, waiting for me to wake up. You know what you did? Waiting to rub your nose in it. Not really a sleepover. I was 23 at the time and drove to California to stay on a buddy's couch. I drank a bunch of beer after the long drive and passed out. Woke up having pissed myself on his couch. It is about 5 AM. I grab a towel and lay on it on the couch, resigning myself to being the guy who pissed on the couch for the duration of my stay. By some miracle the towel absorbed most of it. Him and his roommates woke up around 9 AM. And nobody knew a thing. Edit. Except his cat. His cat knew. Please tell me his cat was not named Towel. Kill the cat Holback. Does a Boy Scout trip count? Well, if it does, here it goes. I was in BS in an inner city area. The older kids were dongs. Well, my first weekend trip, my dad loaded me on goodies to share. I fell asleep and the older kids raided my bag and took just about everything. So it sucked, but whatever. I go home and tell my dad and he was pissed but really composed. Which was odd for my Irish longshoreman dad. So next month is my next trip and my dad made a big batch of brownies but told me not to eat any or share with my friends. He told me leave them in my bag like I did last time. Sure enough, I woke up and they were gone. And 3 kids were shitting themselves like crazy. Yup, my Pop6 lacks the brownies. He showed up that same morning to the campsite with another goodie bag for me to share. Never HQD my bag raided again. TLDR, older Boy Scouts robbed my treats, so my dad literally made them shit themselves. Your dad is awesome. Me and my friend slept in his mom's bedroom on the floor because she liked company since her husband passed away a few weeks before. Apparently when my mom came to pick me up the next day, my friend's mom said I climbed into bed with her. I had no idea. Classic case of sleepwalking. Were you old enough for it to be weird? I was 9, so no, not really. I didn't even know it happened. She sort of laughed it off and at first it scared her cause she didn't know what was going on. Our entire friend group and my poor friend Baxter, that seems like a fun name, watched as my science teacher got a BJ from Baxter's single mom in a hot tub from the window. We were 13. There are some things you can't unsee. Edit. Grammar. Your mama sure does care about your schooling, son. Took the most wholesomely fulfilling shit in my friend's bathroom and ended up flooding the bathroom at 2 AM. The parents had to clean up the entire mess. It was an awkward breakfast the next morning. 5 people in one room in their sleeping bags about to sleep and all I hear is a very slow fapping noise. We didn't find out who it was in the morning. It was you. Wasn't it? It was his dad in the next room. I once slept over at a friend's house. He was a bit older than me. This difference was where he had discovered masturbation, whereas I had not. Anyway, I heard his bed furiously rocking back and forth. I asked him what he was doing. He said he was doing push-ups. It was dark, so I took him for his word. So then I asked if I could do push-ups with him. Years later it all dawned on me. You had no reason to doubt the man was getting swole in the middle of the night. Best comment of the day. When I was 11, my sister who was 14 had a sleepover. I was playing my N64 in the living room. I invite them to play, and we played till 2 AM when everyone decides to go to bed. One of the girls just starts taking off her clothes, no bra, and my sister and 2 of the girls that knew me gasped, "Stop. What are you doing?" The girl replies, "What? We're all girls here." I was scrawny with longer hair and my name is one of those unisex ones. My sister shouts, "My little brother is still here." My eyes were glued to the first pair of boobs I'd seen. The girl goes red and scrambles to cover up. I got lucky and looked away at the right time, trying to see if any of the other girls were undressing. That combined with the shocked look on my face, everyone thought I got startled and was getting flustered trying to look away. My sister quickly shuffled me out of the room. The next morning I walk into the kitchen for breakfast and the girls started laughing and hugging on me, saying my reaction was adorable. Except boob girl. She sat there bright pink on the other side of the table, staring into her French toast. I